Welcome back to Between the Rallies. This is episode 5, and I'm your host, Kyle. I just got back from my Japan trip. Literally, I flew in like 5 or 6 hours ago. Just got here, went and played a little bit of pickleball at the Flying Pickle. Now I'm here shooting the podcast. Japan was seriously a trip that I'll never forget. It was awesome. So I was out there last year and kind of got a sense of the pickleball culture. They don't have public courts the way we do in the States. So they rent gymnasiums, tennis courts, etc. That is pretty much kind of the same way it is out there, but they have dedicated courts now where last time I was there, I only played on gym floors. Some that had so many lines, it was just line spaghetti because you had badminton and who knows how many other sports were all painted on one gym floor. I'm sure those of you that have been around pickleball for a while have also played on gym floors where you just have 10 different colors of lines and you have to know which colors the pickleball lines. This time I was out there, I played outside the whole time. And on dedicated courts the whole time. So in Tokyo, I played at a facility, Pacific Pickle. It was awesome. It was at this urban sports park that had like a skate park. It had a ropes course. It had a dog park. It had like a 100-meter dash race. Very cool facility. So if you guys are in Japan, definitely worth checking that place out. And then I went out to Matsudo Tennis Club, which they had dedicated courts. Their nets were a little janky and it was real windy, but great games out there, great players. And then in Yokohama, where I was staying, I went a little bit north and played at KPI Park. My buddy Chris, who I send a lot of people that want to play in Japan to, he actually hosted like a 24-person event for me to be out there and play with them. And I brought sponsor giveaways from Bodie and You Drippin' and Gherkin and 11624 and Valair. Everybody was super thankful. So shout out to those brands. Everybody was super thankful. It was so funny. We did 2 events. So one day we did KPI Park and it had like 24 people. And then the next day we did the Matsudo Tennis Club and it had less. I think there was 8 to 12 people. But I had 4 paddles left on the second event and Chris was like, how do you want to give them out? I'm like, I don't know. Let's just make it random. And he's like, well, they can figure it out. So they ended up playing rock, paper, scissors for who got the paddles, which was absolutely hilarious. And everybody loved even just getting some grips. So it was super cool. Again, shout out to all the sponsors. Everybody was so thankful to just get free swag from the States. It was a ton of fun. But what I want to focus on here is like people that are growing the community. I actually got to interview 2 people that are kind of making a change in Japan. So the first interview that's going to be on this podcast is Josh. Josh is a student that's out there from Seattle studying the language, and he's trying to bring the open play culture of the U.S., kind of that paddle up on the fence vibe, to Japan. So he's organizing some big events that have music and food and all that stuff. His first event's going to have over 100 people, like 30 players that have never played. So I thought he was perfect for the kind of person I wanted to interview. So let's watch his interview right now. Here we go. All right. So today we have Josh on. Thanks for sitting down with me. So what brought you to Japan?
Yeah, well, I'm from Seattle, Washington, so not too far from the birthplace of pickleball. And I've been in Japan for just over a year now. I'm in Japanese language school, so I'm learning the language. It's been a lifelong dream to be here, be in Japan. It's a super creative place. There's so much happening here. And of course, pickleball is like just getting started here, so that's really exciting. And I'll be finishing up school in a couple months here, and then looking to transition into work and live here full time in Japan.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So being from Seattle, obviously you were an avid pickleball player. You come to Japan. Pickleball is just starting to boom. How does the culture in Japan with pickleball differ from like what we see in the States?
Yeah, that's a good question. Japanese come from a background of either like tennis, badminton, or ping pong. So like it's not surprising that like pickleball has like taken off here in Japan. The Japanese players, like after like maybe like a week, they're already at like a pretty high level. So it's exciting to see. But to your point, like the culture of pickleball in Japan versus the States is completely different. There's no public courts, right? So everything is pay to play here. That means that pickleball is sort of exclusive. It has that tennis culture where, you know, maybe you call up a few friends, you play pickleball. It's also really common for in Japan to join a club. So you're really only playing with people who you know. And for new players, it's really hard to break into those clubs. And then, you know, we were talking a couple days ago about like when we first started like playing pickleball in the States, right? Like we show up to the courts, we don't know anybody.
Nobody.
Don't know anybody. Like you look around, like you put your paddle on the ground,
Yeah.
and like 6 hours later, you've met like 30 people. You have like
Of all ages.
ages, like 16 to 75
Yeah.
years old, and you have like 10 new contacts in your phone in like 3 days.
Yeah.
of
Like George Pickle.
Yeah.
Martha Pickle.
yeah, 4.0 George
Yep,
pickleball,
yep,
right?
yep, yep.
So it's like it's super social, right? In the States, and that's what made pickleball like explode in America. It's probably the best thing about pickleball is that social aspect.
Yeah, social, it's accessible.
Yeah.
I mean, like to your point, you can show up without a paddle and somebody probably give you a paddle to learn the game in the
Right.
States. Yeah. Like,
Right.
So.
And so that's like that social piece is, I think, to some extent missing here in Japan because there aren't public courts. You know, but it's sort of like the early days here where it's like we're fighting for courts. You know, we travel really far to go play pickleball, like minimum 1 hour.
I was gonna say I took an hour and a half train to play
Yeah.
on some tennis courts with a net that's falling over every few
Right.
points.
Right. That's the norm here, right? That's like the old days back home. And then, you know, like in the winter, we're playing on hardwood floors in like school gymnasiums because we got to get like 1,000 dinks in every day.
Yeah.
Right. So that's sort of like where pickleball is right now in Japan.
So from our conversation we had the other day, I know you want to kind of not necessarily break that culture, but kind of mold the culture into something that is more accessible to everybody, more open. What are your plans with that? Like, how do you plan to kind of embed that open play culture in the Japanese way of playing pickleball?
Yeah. So when I think about like what makes pickleball social, it's the open play format, right? What we were talking about earlier, like you walk around, you don't know anyone, you put your paddle down, you meet tons of people. So I want to bring that culture to Japan for pickleball. And so I've started organizing large open play events. It's hard to find those venues, but I think part of what makes the open play events fun is having a lot of people, right? Where you can kind of mingle, meet a ton of people, have international exchange. So I've been looking for venues that can host like a minimum of like 8 courts, 8 to 10 courts. I have an event coming up in a couple weeks in Kawasaki, an indoor facility, and we have 100 players signed up. We've got food trucks and music and, you know, pickleball giveaways. So my hope is to continue building the open play community and really have a big focus on like the first time players because they're just not getting opportunities to play here.
Yeah.
So we have like out of the 100, there's 30 first time players.
That's awesome.
Coming. Yeah.
That's very cool.
Yeah.
So like any of my viewers that are watching, where could they follow, like I have viewers and brands, like where could they follow you on social media, get involved, maybe help you out with some of these events to help grow the sport?
Yeah, so smop.pickleball is my Instagram if you want to check us out there.
Okay. I'll put that in the show notes.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And yeah, if you are an operator of a facility in Japan and you may be watching this, please let us use those courts for pickleball purposes. It's a great financial opportunity for venues, as you know. Like,
Absolutely.
There's so much more use from the number of people that can come and use the courts versus
Absolutely.
tennis. If you are visiting Japan and you're looking for pickleball, feel free to hit me up. We'd love to have you at one of the events.
I get messages like that all the time.
Yeah.
They're like, "Hey, Kyle, I'm headed to Tokyo. Who do I call to play pickleball?" So,
Right.
I mean, and I got another contact to send people to you.
Yeah,
so.
send them my way.
Love that. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for sitting down and chatting
Yeah.
with me. Hopefully your open play goes amazing. Sadly, I got to go back to the States, which sucks.
Yes.
But I'll be watching from afar. So thanks again.
Yeah, please come back.
All right. So cool. Honestly, if any brand saw this and they want to help Josh out, please reach out to him. Smop Pickleball. I'll put his Instagram in the show notes. He's just getting started on Instagram, so he doesn't have a lot of followers, but he's got big goals and he's got some vision, and I'm really excited to see what he does in Japan. And then for my next interview, her name's Yasuko. And Yasuko is a badass lefty that I met the first time I was out there. She is growing the sport. She's running tournaments. She's involved with anything pickleball in Japan. She's there. And I just wanted to get her perspective on how pickleball has grown and where she sees it going and, what she's kind of doing to help it grow. So let's check out her interview here. All right. I'm sitting here with Yasuko. Yasuko, thank you so much for coming on the show.
Yep.
When you guys message me and you're like, hey, where do I play pickleball in Japan? This is the gal that I send you to. So again, thank you for being on the show. Let's start. How did you personally get into pickleball?
Right. So I used to live in San Francisco, like back in 2016. And then I was active on Twitter at the time. So I was tweeting about life in US, or, I was tweeting about trends in US. And then one of my friends on Twitter, he was also tweeting about the trends in US. So after I came back to Japan, he tweeted about he introduced this is one of the fastest growing sports in US, pickleball. And then I Google, where if I can play pickleball in Japan.
Okay.
And then there is a pickleball club nearby my house, so
Okay.
that's where I started playing pickleball.
Did you fall in love instantly?
Yeah.
For the people watching in the US, how would you describe the pickleball scene in Japan?
It's definitely growing rapidly. We are still behind from US or Vietnam, Malaysia, I would say. But within the last 1 year, there are so two or three or four courts, pickleball dedicated courts built it in Tokyo. So, and then in terms of number of player, 1 or 2 years ago, there were only 5,000 players, but now one of the data says there are 50K player in Japan. So it's growing. And then last year, we also hosted the PPA Asia for the first time. So yeah, it's growing.
That's awesome. When I was here a year ago, almost none of these, we're currently at a pickleball facility that has 2 beautiful courts outside, the Pacific Pickleball Club. When I was here last time, there was no outdoor courts really. We played on gym floors the whole time. I played outside one time in Tokyo. It was at a high school. We had to tape the lines and then rip the lines up after we were done playing. So the growth from my point of view has been huge.
Yeah.
So you actually helped run some tournaments and stuff. What made you want to get into that?
So I think 1 month after I started pickleball, I found the pickleball club, who are similar age to me, and then the leader of the team, he is apparently world champion of cross-minton. That is another minor sports, but he has been running the tournament for other racket sports. So he wanted to run a tournament for pickleball, and then because I played with him a lot, so I naturally got involved into the tournament management. So that's how I started it. And then, I really love running tournament.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So where do you see Japan pickleball in 3 to 5 years? On what level do you see it?
Right. That's a tough question. So I hope, Japan will be the one of the country who are leading, pickleball in Asia. Maybe Japanese player are smaller than, American player. So maybe they're not power player necessarily, but I think Japanese are good at being patient. So maybe they're good at thinking, or I hope Japanese, those top Japanese player will bring a new play style to,
I love that. Heck yeah.
PPA or big tournament in US.
I can see that.
Yeah.
Something I did notice about Japan and the culture of pickleball since I've been here is your guys' work ethic. When I went back to the States, I was like, listen, these guys do 3-hour sessions and an hour to an hour and a half of it is drilling. Nobody in the States does that. I saw it from good players all the way down to old 3-0 ladies that I played with. They were still drilling before they played in Japan.
Drilling.
Yeah, so it was. I do think that is going to bring you guys to a higher level quicker, and I'm excited to see that.
Yeah.
So for anybody that's watching, if they want to follow you on social media or whatnot, where can they follow you and see the tournaments that you're running and just what you're doing for the pickleball culture in Japan? Where can they follow you?
Right. Yeah. Definitely. Instagram.
Instagram.
Is, one of the main.
I'll put her page in the show notes. Yeah, down in the notes.
Yeah.
So, is there anything else you'd want to say?
Yeah, so I hope, like, I think a lot of more and more people are traveling to Japan for vacation, but still, like, they want to play pickleball. So I love, seeing those people playing with, like, local Japanese players. So yeah, please come to Japan and let's play pickleball together.
I love that.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so much,
Yeah,
Yasuko.
thank you.
All right, that was awesome. Seriously, thank you so much, Josh and Yasuko, for taking the time to do the interviews with me. You guys are amazing, and it's just so cool to see you guys trying to grow the sport and the community. I love to see it, and it's cool to see how much the sport has grown out there since I've been there last, and I'm really hoping I can go out there again, in the next coming years. But there's a lot of people that want me to go take a trip to like Vietnam or Malaysia and check out play there, so I might have to go there. Again, shout out to you guys, not just Yasuko and Josh, but Chris was awesome setting up those events. Also, shout out to KJ. KJ is also a guy out in Japan that's starting to bring that open play culture. So there's some people out there making some changes, and I love to see it. Because we did the interviews today, we're going to cut a couple sections short. I'm not going to do around the net because I wasn't really watching any pro pickleball. So let's get into it in the bag. So I got these new shoes. These are from Xero, Xero, and it's a barefoot zero drop court shoe. And what's interesting about this is when I first started playing pickleball, my favorite shoes were actually zero drop CrossFit shoes. But the issue was I destroyed them. They just couldn't last. And what's cool about these zero drop barefoot shoes is they have that wider toe box. And they're basically flat and low to the ground. You essentially feel like you're on the court. So pros and cons, you feel like you're on the court. So if you have sensitive feet, you might want to put a little bit more of a cushiony insole in here, like a Blumaka or something, because you definitely feel the court. But I'm super excited to get some more hours on these, because if these are durable, again, I always liked the CrossFit shoe. I just shredded them. So if they hack the durability, these could be a game changer. So I'll let you guys know more about these. All right, the tried and true. I've been playing the SpeedUp Tide pretty much religiously lately. So this is going to be my next review. Again, it is using that MPP foam with a TPE outer. And it's special for a 14. Again, I've already talked about it. I just wanted to bring it up again. This is going to be my next review. It's the best 14 I've hit. And I'm not usually a 14 fan. I'm a 16 fan. But this, be on the lookout for the review on this one. We'll talk more about it. The one everybody wants to hear about. The Vapor Power 2. All right. So, the Hexa Grit is ridiculous. The new grit that 11.624 came out with, it feels like sandpaper. You could give yourself a pedicure. This is UPA only. Everybody I let touch it in Japan basically laughed at how gritty it is. It's awesome, though. The shaping capability, your ball shaping with it is good. Power is good. I'd put it like mid-power. Not like insanely powerful, but it's definitely not. It's not low enough to be like in the all-court. It's well within the power range. Sweet spot's pretty generous. Again, the Vapor shape, it does look like he tweaked the shape a little bit from the last Vapor, and I really enjoy the Vapor. It's just really good for catching that flared out area, like in those backhand flicks when you're at the net. I think it's just a little more forgiving when you're reaching out and going for those flicks. This is going to be a paddle to watch. I'm also going to do a dedicated review on this one as well. So I'm going to do the Tide first, and then I will probably do the Vapor Power 2, which I'm sure it'll come out after everybody's reviews, but I'm not trying to be the first to the market with a review. I'm just reviewing what I want to review. And I think you guys are going to like this one. This color, it's kind of a, I don't know what he's calling this color. To me, it looks like a lilac or lavender, but it's a pretty paddle, and he actually came out with a backpack that has a matching color. And it's super cute. I think my girlfriend's going to steal this paddle. And if any of you guys buy this color, your wives are probably going to steal it. So that is a con for this paddle for sure. I'm rocking about 3 inches of the Bodhi 1 gram tape. And it feels great. I haven't put it on a graffiti, so I don't know what the swing weight is on it. But it's plenty maneuverable. Since we are skipping around the net, but we're going to still do mail call. So let's get into mail call. Pickleball _Michael. Favorite food in Japan? That's a great question. Japan has so much good food. I mean, the States suck. Like, it's actually really funny. I took a picture of my French toast, which it was like ridiculous. And I posted it on Instagram. I got a message from Robert Slutsky, and he had sent me a picture of French toast he got in France. And he was like, what are we doing in America? We're getting fat off subpar food. And honestly, that can't be more true. The food in Japan, they just take so much more pride in their work. And they do that with everything. So like the food is top notch. The cost is always much more affordable than it is in the States. So picking a favorite food's tough because sushi was amazing. I had yakitori was amazing. Yakiniku was amazing. If I had to pick my favorite food in Japan, though, I would probably have to say the yakiniku. And yakiniku, if you don't know what that is, it's similar to like a Korean barbecue where they give you that thinly sliced meat, and it can be, beef cheek, beef tongue, but like thinly sliced. They sometimes marinate it, and then you just cook it right there on your table on a little barbecue. And that's probably my favorite. And that's kind of an experience. A lot of the places out there, you pay, 2,000 yen and you get like all you can drink for an hour or 2 hours. So it's fun. Drink some lemon sours, eat some good food. If you haven't been to Japan, the food itself is worth going just for the food, how affordable it is. And now pickleball's booming out there. So you get out there, you can play pickle, eat good food. It's awesome. P. Sullivan, 75. The average level of play in Japan. I will say the average level of play has definitely gone up since I was there last. I would say the average level was right around a 4.0, but there's some caveats to that. All these players are coming from tennis, badminton. So while I say 4.0, and they might lack in, some strategy and some patterns, their hands are top notch. Some of them have some nasty overheads with crazy angles. They have other skills that I think makes them stronger players. And like Yasuko said in her interview, like we're going to see Japan shift the way we see pickleball. Like when we see these different types of players coming into the game and finding their way into those top levels, we're going to see some different play kind of highlighted. And again, I think that's where the badminton, the cross mitten, the soft tennis, all those sports they play out there that we don't really play in the States, we're going to see aspects of that game kind of infiltrate, our traditional pickleball game. It's the same thing as like when I started, it was all, soft dinks because you couldn't rip it. And then we got more tennis players and better paddle technology. So like as the players change and the paddle technology change, the game changes and it opens up more avenues for different types of shots. So I'm going to say 4.0 was the average. Smash or pass? I only got one topic here. I was on Instagram the other day and I see a tutorial from Travis Retmeyer and he's rocking the Loco from Bread and Butter. Is he sponsored by them? No. But Bread and Butter's kind of taking a stance. They've been pretty vocal about not sponsoring pros and whatnot. If they were to sponsor some pros, I feel like they'd have to sponsor unique types of pros that kind of match their brand. And honestly, Travis Retmeyer, I could see him being a candidate to rock a Bread and Butter paddle. He's got kind of that bad boy attitude. He likes to talk shit. Like he could actually fit that brand mold and make it work. Where I feel like if Bread and Butter sponsored, I don't know, like JW Johnson, like that just would be weird. So I'm gonna say smash on that. And Travis, hit up Doug. Let's see what he thinks, because that would actually be kind of fun. That's it for this week. I was in Japan for the last 2 weeks, so I got to catch up on like the pro game and what's going on and get back into it. But I really wanted to share those awesome interviews with the people that are really changing some things out there in Japan. I have another interview coming up, not the next podcast, but the week after. I've got a really cool guest. Not going to spoil that, but it's somebody you guys all know, and it's going to be a fun one. If you like the show and you want to support, please hit that subscribe button, share the show with a friend. My reviews, I'm planning on doing giveaways with most of my reviews, so stay tuned. Maybe you'll get a free paddle, but until then, catch you guys between the rallies.